Just two dudes having a conversation. You're my friend and I trust you.
It was a kazoo standoff. We were both just
made great podcast material.
just both waiting for the other one to start.
All right.
I was going to do the whole thing till you stopped me. The long version too, with the third
The
verse.
orange juice, sipping orange juice out of a champagne glass. Welcome to this podcast.
This podcast.
Medium. It's the medium that we use.
I thought you meant like medium rare.
Oh, no.
I got steak on the mind. I had a great steak last night.
I'm so hungry, so we can't start talking about this now.
Okay.
I've only eaten lunch.
Man. Well, this steak I had was literally as big as my plate.
Nice.
And cooked to perfection by me, grilled to perfection. We get the digital thermometer.
Mm-hmm.
You stick that sucker in there. As soon as it hits 120, you pull it off. It's perfect medium rare.
I will say one of the best steaks that I've had was, so Donnie and I and a friend of ours, we do Ron Swanson days every now and then.
Yeah.
Which Ron Swanson's the character from Parks and Rec. He's like the manly man, likes his steak, likes his whiskey. And so we get together and we eat and do things that Ron Swanson might do.
One year we made bacon out of a pig belly.
Yes, made our own bacon.
Smoked it.
Didn't turn out as good as we thought, mainly because we cut it too thick, I think.
Yeah. If you, like, we each just got like a chunk of this thing. Like we split it up, this pig belly, into 3 chunks and each took a chunk home.
Yeah.
And then you had to like cut it off yourself. And the skin was like super tough.
Yeah.
I had to use like the sharpest knife that I owned to cut this bacon. And it was really hard to cut it thin. So you ended up having like bacon, little mini steaks, which wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But I've had better bacon.
But one of those days, you got a steak from I think it was IGA. It was like the manager special. Do you remember this? It was one of the best steaks I've ever had.
I think it was Bueller's or something.
Was it Bueller's?
Yeah. And it was like the manager special is like when it's just about to go bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so good though. Like so tender.
Yeah.
Like,
for some reason, the tenderest steak I've ever had. Like past filet mignon.
Yeah.
And it was like a sirloin.
Yeah. It was
Or a
so
T-bone.
good.
It was super good steak.
Now I'm really hungry.
Oh, sorry, man.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
But this is You're My Friend, I Trust You
Mhm.
podcast.
Mhm.
I don't think we said our name, but
Mhm.
just start talking about steak, which
Eh,
we do.
we do from time to time.
That's right. We took Easter off. It was one of the craziest weeks for me. And so,
Very busy. You work in a church.
sorry, no podcast last week, but
Yeah, we had some complaints.
did we?
Yeah. One very angry complaint from my girlfriend, Emily.
Mm,
She was like, I needed this because this week was her last week of her internship.
That's right.
Actually, today was her very last day.
so she's done.
She's done completely. So shout out to my beautiful girlfriend, Emily Ebert. She is done with her internship. I fly down Sunday and we're driving back up, spending 2 nights in Nashville.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I say driving that drive straight through sucks.
I wouldn't want to do that. It's 14 hours from Orlando to Nashville.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a day.
Yeah. But that'll be fun though.
Yeah.
At least you can break it up.
Yeah. Totally.
It's exciting.
And then also my sister was very upset.
Oh.
I was Marco Poloing back and forth with my sister. She was upset with me.
Sorry, Megan.
Yeah.
Sorry, Emily. It was my fault.
It was Pudge's fault.
That's right. I'm still on the mends from the Easter weekend.
You look haggard. Your voice sounds gone.
My voice is very much gone. Granted, this was after, we're recording this after rehearsal again, but I was squeaking like a pubescent.
I guess that would be pubescent.
Pubescent.
Yeah.
High school kid.
I have a quick question.
About puberty?
Yeah. When should it happen? Okay, so when you're going through puberty, that's puberty. What's after? Like you're prepubescent means you're pre-puberty, right?
Right.
And then what's post-pubescent is what you and I would be?
I guess.
Anyone past puberty?
Grown?
Grown. He grown.
He grown. I don't know. I guess that would be... Carol, let us know.
Yeah.
Post-pubescent, or because adolescent is a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Adult?
Because I wouldn't consider myself, I was an adult after that all was finished. So
when did it end? It seems like...
Is it when your brain stops developing? Because like that, like I just
25.
hit that this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess it wasn't this year. 27.
So 2 years ago, your brain stopped.
So I'm fully formed.
As smart, as developed as you're gonna get.
I'm just getting dumber now.
Oh man. It's just turning into when you do whippets, it supposedly puts holes like in your brain.
Oh boy.
Like in your brain matter. So it just turns your brain to Swiss cheese. So now from here on out, it's just you're heading towards Swiss cheese brain.
Yes.
Not saying you're doing whippets.
Right. Yeah,
there are just a ton of empty Cool Whip bottles around this room, though.
It is crazy though, like just that whole process. Like I would never want to go through puberty.
Puberty? Oh, you couldn't pay me enough money to go through puberty
either. It was like one of those, like I just woke up one day. It felt like I didn't really go through like a squeaky voice phase.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like one day I would answer the phone and people would think I was my mom, and then the next day I just sounded like I sound now. And then that, like with my facial hair, it started with like 3 hairs on my Adam's apple. I was like, oh, it's kind of like, it's cool. And then it felt like a week later I had this, a beard.
I think the first hair I got was hair in my right armpit. And it was like that for probably 8 months.
Just your right?
Just my right. And I was very concerned, is the left going to come in? And then after the right, maybe a few months after the right, I started getting some hairs on my right nipple.
Really?
Yeah. And then eventually the left armpit hair filled in.
Yeah.
But I do remember a time where I thought I had armpit cancer because my armpits were just so tender and it felt like there was little lumps in there in each one.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I have armpit cancer.
Were you sick?
No.
Okay, because like lymph nodes are in there.
In your armpits?
Yeah.
Maybe I was sick. I felt fine otherwise.
Or your body might have just been fighting off something.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt okay though during that period of time.
Yeah. I've had that where like my armpits just hurt. But it was mostly when I was like going through that. And like part of it too is I don't know if it was like me actually growing, like because growing pains are real, which I don't know if you got them very bad at all.
Not really, no.
Oh my goodness, my knees. Well, that's part of why I had Osgood Schlatters is because I grew too fast for my tendon and just stretched that sucker out. But yeah, I remember like laying in bed at night and just like it was just like aching knees.
I mean, I had it a little bit, but I'm not that tall of an individual.
Yeah,
I'm 5'8", 5'7", and 8/9,
right.
15/16.
As Allie's always like, I'm 5'3" or 5'4" and 2/4. Should be a half, but it's like, no, you're just 5'4". I always want to fight for that that fraction.
Keep people short.
That's right.
Keep short people short. Jordan Benter, 2019.
Yes. Oh, man.
Yeah, but for real, though, it seemed like puberty, like you said, just one day you don't, and then the next day, bam, it just hits you like a truck.
Mm-hmm.
But then when does it end?
I don't know.
Because I don't remember. It definitely wasn't like sudden, like, oh, yay, I'm done with puberty now.
Yeah. I think for me, it was like the physical changes were very quick, but it was like learning how to process everything. That was in like the hormones that are flowing, like that is what was long, like going through high school and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now I can obviously, like, everything is normal and I know how to control like everything. And but back then, you know, things were happening. You weren't sure why.
Yeah. There's a fantastic show on Netflix called Big Mouth.
Yeah.
If you don't like talking, like very gross puberty talk and sometimes over the top profanity and sexual situations that go along with puberty, don't watch Big Mouth. But it's hilarious, absolutely hilarious, and they nail just everything about puberty.
Like as one who's gone through it, where you like, oh yeah, yep,
Oh, totally, yeah.
yeah.
And they blow stuff like way out of proportion, you know. But like even like some of the smaller stuff that just goes along with puberty, they're like, oh my goodness. And you're like, I haven't thought about that in years, but yeah, that's it 1,000%.
Yep.
So definitely I would check out Big Mouth if you want a good laugh. It's a cartoon show, but don't let that fool you. It's not very PG.
That's what Netflix is going to get you.
That's right. You've been watching that Game of Thrones, speaking about non-PG stuff?
I have not.
Have you ever watched Game of Thrones?
I think my brother bought me the first season. It's just not like...
You've never been into that fantasy sort of stuff.
Right, yeah. Like the
swords and the dragons.
I liked playing Skyrim, but like especially like the medieval time frame.
Doesn't interest you?
Doesn't interest me.
Catapults and whatnot?
Nope.
Robin Hood?
Nope.
That bums me out.
Yeah.
Moats? Not your thing?
Moats would be cool.
Drawbridges?
I'd love to have a moat and a drawbridge.
Let's do it.
At this house that I'm renting?
Yeah.
Dig a moat around it?
Yeah.
I will say, my neighbor, I know there's zero chance that he ever finds this podcast, but my neighbor...
What if he does, though?
It'd be funny. Apparently, my landlord had recently bought this house. Like, he bought it probably a year ago now. And there was a dispute about the property line. And which, like, the property line basically runs right up against their flower beds. Because for years, whoever lived here before, they just let them do whatever. Well, the guy bought the property and wanted to make sure that it was all his property. So anyway, we had to mow for the first time this year. I mowed this week. And he mowed first. And like I could see where he mowed the property line. So I was like, cool. He didn't do that last year. He mowed like 8 feet into my yard, which I wasn't like super bummed about because it's less to have to mow.
Right.
But so I mowed and mowed all the way to meet where he stopped mowing. And then later on that night, I look out and they have like 4 dogs, like little purse dogs. And they're pooping in our yard. He just like he's walking them down to our tree, which is in our yard.
Yeah.
And then he's got like the retractable thing, and he just like lets them go. Like it's obviously like even the previous property line that he thought it was still probably 8 to 10 feet into my yard.
That's the worst.
And they're just like dumping all over my yard down there.
That's the worst.
And I have to mow through it.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
Neighbors suck so much.
I know. I don't want any more.
Except, I will say, our neighbor.
You have a cool neighbor.
We have a really sick neighbor. He actually came over yesterday. Day before yesterday, he came over, dumped a whole bunch of backfill down by our land bridge that was washing away. We have a culvert pipe and then dirt over it to create a land bridge going through a creek in our backyard or side yard. And it was starting to get washed away because every time it rains really heavy, it like floods over the top because water can't go through that pipe fast enough. Starting to erode. He brought over a whole bunch of backfill. Basically dug out a whole bunch, put cinder blocks in there.
Wow.
Backfilled it with dirt and did it all for free.
Nice.
Yeah. He even threw grass seed down and put some hay over top of it.
That's a solid neighbor.
Solid neighbor. And he's always been that dude that's like my dad and him, and then I and him. Not so much as my dad and I. My dad and him are really just like back and forth, like, hey, I need this. Can you help me out? I need this. Can you help me out? And they're always doing stuff like that. Yeah. Very, like, best neighbor you could ever possibly want or have.
That's awesome.
But I've also had really crappy neighbors, and your current situation with the pooping in the yard is just so frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. It's like you know that they know that they're doing something wrong. So why do you do it? What kind of a person does that?
And like I know he had like a heated argument with my landlord, but my landlord doesn't live here. We've been nothing but like friendly with them.
Yeah.
Have give them no problems.
What are you going to do? Tattle to them on your landlord?
Right. Like I'm about to
do it.
Like, cause
say, hey, their dog's pooping in my yard.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't own the yard; it's his yard. But
ask your landlord to put up a privacy fence.
I would actually love a privacy fence over there.
Yeah,
and it's not because like I just am not neighborly. It's just if you're neighborly to me, we'll be cool.
Yeah,
but
totally. Our one neighbor, not the nice neighbor, but our neighbors on the other side, when they moved in years and years ago, there was some discrepancy also about a property line. And he was really into yard work and planting flower beds and trees and mulching and stuff, and would just do that constantly. And eventually his flower bedding started creeping over into our property line. And we're like, he thinks it's here because he put something like a compost pile, like probably 5 feet into our property line on the edge of it. So I believe under the direction of my parents, but I don't want to put that out on the podcast. So probably not.
Right.
Wink,
right.
wink.
Yeah.
A very passive aggressive feud started of he would work his flower bed out into our property, and then when we would mow, we would mow over it. And then he'd work his flower bed back, and then we'd mow it again.
Yeah, I mean,
get it off my property.
That's right. I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to mow over it.
Yeah, and there used to be an awesome, like, massive old oak tree that like divided our property. It sat right on the line, pretty much, and he chopped it down.
Oh.
We were super bummed.
Wow.
It's like half of that tree was ours.
Right.
Should have left half of it.
That sucks.
Yeah.
My someone I know is having a neighbor war currently. It's not really a war. More so their neighbor is, I think, I don't know if it's schizophrenia or what.
Oh man, you're gonna have to tell me who this is.
Yeah.
Off podcast.
Yeah. To the point where like cops keep being called on the people I know.
Oh man. Called on.
So the schizophrenic person is calling the cops.
Oh man.
Yeah, because like they say that they have cameras up in the windows recording their house. They say that they're blaring gospel music out the windows. And like the cops have come like 4 times. It's to the point now where they don't even like tell these people I know that they've like they got called. They just go to the guy and like I don't hear anything. And he also drinks a lot. And so then the cops have said that like they can tell he's drunk.
Yeah.
But what's scary is like because he's just imagining these things, they don't really know what he's gonna do.
Right.
You
like,
know?
Where is that breaking point?
Yeah.
Or how far can he
And
his delusions take him.
Yeah, and they're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And so you're basically just kind of waiting for something to happen at this point.
Man.
Which sucks, but
It really sucks.
I'm glad at least our neighbors aren't to that point.
Yeah.
But,
you have somewhat civil neighbors.
Yeah.
The letting the dogs poop in the yard, a step too far for sure. But also, this is turning into bad neighbor podcast, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
When I was in Pittsburgh, I lived in a duplex, and I have a couple stories from there. But the first one, talking about like the passive aggressive, just neighborly crap.
Mm-hmm.
The duplex I lived in, there was enough for 2 cars to park right in front of it, 3 if you really squeezed them. And then right on the end of my property line and my neighbor next to me, he would park his truck right at the very end of it, and he never ever once drove that truck in the 2 years that I lived there. He would get like a ticket from the county saying this needs to be moved because it's just sitting here, and now it's a nuisance. And he would rip the sticker off, back it up a foot one day, and then pull it forward a foot the next day. And it was just because he didn't want people parking in front of his property.
Wow.
And he would sometimes, like, if there were 2 cars parked there and they were like really squeezed, I couldn't get my car in there. I had to park down the street multiple times.
Having only street parking is the worst.
Sucks so much. I often contemplated like just driving up into the yard.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it would have flown with my landlord. My landlord was very much a weird situation. I think I've said on the podcast before, because I would sleep during the day. He would just walk in because he would be like, I was knocking, you didn't answer. I got to go down in the kitchen.
It's still super illegal, at least in Ohio.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure it's illegal everywhere.
Yeah.
But I can't see because I don't have my contacts in. There's just a figure peeking in through my bedroom door. I'm under the covers.
That would be the worst.
Confused and scared and alone in Pittsburgh.
And can't see.
And can't see. I basically just had to come to the point of acceptance of eventually someone is just going to come in here and kill me. And I'm just not going to be able to do anything about it. So once you get to that point of acceptance, it just becomes
right
pretty mediocre. Just somebody coming in there and hey, what's up? Do your thing. Kill me if you want.
Oh man.
And then in the duplex, when I first moved in, there was a really nice guy. He was a nurse and he worked crazy hours, so I never saw him. But he also played in the Pittsburgh Orchestra. He played trumpet. And our walls were super thin. And he'd be practicing trumpet. And I'd be trying to sleep. I'd just be like, well, I guess I'm not sleeping. Because I wasn't the type of dude to like pound on the walls or go over and confront him. Just let him do his thing. It's fine. He never practiced for more than 45 minutes at a time. So, but he'd be like, I was just talking to him one day. He was like, so can you hear me when I practice trumpet? I'm like, yeah, I definitely can. He was like, oh man, that sucks. I try to like face the opposite way. I'm like, it's a trumpet. It's gonna come through no matter what direction you're facing.
Oh man.
But then he moved out and I think at least 8 Iranians moved in because I was talking to them one time. And they were from Iran. But I saw such a rotating cast of characters. And it was just all hours. It'd be like 6 a.m. I'd hear the door, people coming in and out. Or 1 o'clock in the morning, people coming in and out. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, people coming in and out. And I saw multiple people. I know that there were 3 that lived there all the time. And this duplex, theirs was just a mirror of mine, and you saw my duplex. It was tight with 1.
Yes, it was.
So
yeah, that's really impressive.
Yeah. And then they would also cook Iranian food, which smelled good. Like if I were to have some, I bet it would be great. I bet it'd be way too spicy for me though. But man, you could smell it from the street. Like, oh, they're cooking tonight. And it would just be very pungent, very powerful smell.
My first apartment that I moved into by myself was in Orville, and it was a duplex, but it was split like attic and then rest of house.
Yeah.
So I was in the attic space, and you've been there, and it was tiny.
It was tight,
tiny attic, but for one person,
small.
Rent was $370 a month. It took nothing to heat and cool the place.
Oh yeah. You could have heated that place with a candle.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actually times, I know you're not supposed to do this, but like I had a gas stove. So I would just like turn the stove on, and it was only on for maybe 10 minutes and it would heat the place. Okay. Yeah.
All right. Man, it smells like gas in here. I better light a candle to get the scent out of here.
Right. But when I first moved in, the guy told me, he was like, the guy who lives underneath here, he's recently separated from his wife. He was an emergency, he worked in an emergency room as a psychiatrist.
Okay.
So he said, his hours are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You may see him, you may not. So, okay. For the first probably 6 months, I would see him on like Thursday nights. He would be there.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, he was like never there. And then after that, I thought he had left. Mm-hmm. No one was living underneath me. Mm-hmm. And I only had street parking. I didn't get the driveway. Mm-hmm. But since he was never there, I just always parked in the driveway. I had a Silverado at the time, so street parking wasn't all that great. Mm-hmm. And I also had a motorcycle, I think. And so I was able to park that in the driveway.
Yeah.
It was great for like 2 months. The only person in this house could be as loud as I want up in the attic. Mm-hmm. It was super cheap. Mm-hmm. It was great. But then these two old people show up, like legit, like in their late 60s, early 70s.
Better be walking around on tippy toes.
Yeah. And I was like, I have no idea who this is. And then like his truck would be there back on Thursday nights. Mm. But these older people were there all the time. Mm. And finally I ran into him one day, and it was his parents were staying there for some reason. Mm. And then also his brother. And I feel bad because I accidentally ratted him out. My landlord had asked like if I had seen him recently. I don't know what was going on with them, but I was just like, no, I haven't really seen him. I said, I think it's his parents and his brother staying there or something. Mm. He's like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, oh.
Well, you didn't hear it from me.
Right. A month later, they were all gone.
Wow.
So I don't know if they got kicked out for, not, because like it was in our lease that like we had to get like, if someone was moving in, you had to give them their information to get on the lease. So
sure.
And all this stuff.
Yeah.
So then I had enjoyed like another month of just bliss of no one underneath me.
Yeah.
And then the neighbors from California moved in.
Oh no.
Which my landlord kept telling me like they'll be here. They'll be here next week. They'll be here next week for like 3 weeks. Well, then I came home one day, and the street parking right out front of my house, suddenly there was just a semi-trailer, like, dropped. Oof. Taking up the entire like, stretch between the two driveways of where I could park.
Yeah.
And then our driveway was full with these new vehicles. I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So I had to park literally, like, a block and a half down. And I was like, well, they're unloading their stuff, whatever. They had this whole semi-trailer for like a week and a half parked out there because there's this whole family, and one lady was the one unloading the semi-trailer. Everyone else was sitting on the porch watching her.
What?
Yeah. I was like, guys, can you, maybe help out?
How'd she get the couches and stuff?
I have no idea. But like every time I saw her out there, it was her just carrying boxes off the truck, and the rest of the family just sitting on the porch.
Wow.
Yeah, they weren't my favorite neighbors. They opened up our Swiffer and used it.
It got delivered to you.
I ordered a Swiffer for Allie like shortly after we got married, and
Who does that?
I don't know. And then like I got the notification that it delivered.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it was like a day later. I went down. It's like, hey, did you guys happen to get a package that was meant for us? And they're like, was it like a Swiffer wet jet? It's like, yes. Oh, we thought it was ours.
What?
Yeah. I was like, did you order one? Like, first off,
Is your name Jordan Benter?
Right. And like, sure enough, they had assembled it. It was used, and like, oh, here you go.
What the heck?
Yeah, I was ticked. It was also.
Where do people get off?
I don't know.
What in the world?
Like, if you were to get a package, one, I would assume you would look at the name. But say you just didn't.
Yeah.
And you open it up, and it was a Instapot.
I didn't order this Instapot. This doesn't belong to me. I need to figure out whose this is. Let me look at the package since I didn't do that.
Right.
Oh, it's my neighbor's. Let me go give it to them. Or at least put it on their doorstep.
Right. Or if you don't know who it is, maybe just send it back to Amazon or like it's free for you to do. So I also got stuck in their house one night. I think I come home from rehearsal and I don't remember exactly all that happened, but I was trying to walk upstairs and one of the ladies, they were partners, and so one of them was working, the other one was home. They had like foster kids or something. They had a bunch of kids there. And it was probably 9:00 at night. She's like, hey Jordan. As I was trying to get upstairs. She's like, I was like, yeah, what's up? She's like, could you do me a huge favor? I was like, what's up? She's like, could you walk our dogs around the block? They need to go on their walk, but one of the babies had just gone down and like she couldn't really leave. I was like, sure, I'll walk your dogs. So it was like a little Chihuahua mix and a pug. And the Chihuahua mix was like a stereotypical, like crazy and didn't like me. And so like I'm trying to walk it and it would like walk and then just happen to like turn and notice that I was still and like sit there and bark at me. And meanwhile the pug is still just trying to walk and like do his thing.
Yeah.
And I had to walk it like all the way around the block for them to actually do their business. And then I got back and I was like, well, here are your dogs or whatever. And then she had asked if I could come look at their ceiling because it looked like a leak was happening.
Oh boy.
It's like, I'm call the landlord.
Yeah.
They wanted to, it was a drop ceiling. They wanted me to move the tiles so they could see and they couldn't reach it. Okay, whatever.
They can't stand on a chair?
I guess not. Well, no, they couldn't.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah. So I got up in there. So I'm in their bathroom. I lift up the tile. It's like, yeah, there's water up here. So put it back. And then she proceeds to talk to me for like 30 minutes. And I'm trapped inside. She's standing in the doorway of the bathroom. I can't leave. Yeah. It's like, yeah. Yeah. So there was also the neighbor who, since I lived in the attic, it was an old school attic with the like stairs going all the way up to it inside. So he just put like a double lock thing on the door. But every morning, one of their kids would sit in front of the door with a ball and bounce the ball off the door. Do-doom, 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 do-doom. Yeah. So then Allie and I got married and we moved shortly after.
Yeah. And how nice is just having
it's
an entire house to yourself?
Yeah. Like I don't even think about having to like be quiet.
Oh yeah.
Fridays when I'm off, like I just have music blaring.
Yeah, man.
It's great.
I love it so much. My old duplex, I used to not even watch TV with volume on. I did, but I had my headphones connected. I wouldn't watch TV just with volume playing because I thought that would be too loud.
Yeah.
So I was just like a mouse over there.
It is weird, like living in a duplex, how much like you analyze yourself and how much noise you make. At least the thoughtful people do.
Right.
Usually your neighbors don't. But
yeah.
I hated living in a duplex.
Yeah. When I moved back to Ohio and got the house in Dalton, that was amazing. Just like screaming if I want to.
Play drums.
Have my drums set up. Yeah. Oh, it was great. Yeah. It was fantastic. Luckily, because I'm the type of person to just walk around talking to myself and singing and doing random stuff. Kazooing. Yeah, if I feel so inclined. But I couldn't do that in the duplex, so I felt very restrained. But I don't know, I feel like it mellowed me out a little bit. It was nice.
Yeah.
But luckily I had the studio like a 2-minute drive away. So I could go to the studio at night. There'd be nobody there. It's all soundproofed. I can be as loud as I want.
Yeah.
Play drums.
Yeah.
Do my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But totally. I love the independent living. I'm looking forward to getting back to that.
Yeah.
Because living with the parents is nice, but
especially after you've lived on your own.
Yeah.
That's what's hard.
It's real rough.
Is then going back to, like, even if your parents don't like put the restrictions that you once had when you lived there on you.
Yeah.
It's just something different about it.
Oh, yeah. Because my parents they understand that I'm my own person and like they don't really expect anything of me. You know, like they're not like, hey, you need to be home by. I'm free to do what I want.
Yeah.
But since I am living there, it'll be like, hey, can you do the dishes for me? And it's like, I can't say no to that.
Right. Because they're letting you live there.
Right. It's not like when I was living by myself and like, oh, I don't feel like doing the dishes today. I'll get them tomorrow. Yep. That sort of thing.
Yep.
You know? And I don't know. I really can't complain though, because they're letting me live there rent free, which is great. I have taken over 2 rooms. My old bedroom is now my office where I work from, and then my sister's old bedroom is now my bedroom. So I can't complain too much. Yeah. I'm very grateful. Mom, Dad, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Also, you're welcome for doing the dishes. Perfect son. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Your hair's getting long.
Yeah, I'm going to get cut tomorrow.
You look like a little boy. If you were to shave the beard.
I have a full beard.
Minus beard. You look like a little boy.
What about it?
It's just like a little boy haircut.
Well, I also used Allie's shampoo and conditioner today. So it's like, it's more, it has more volume.
What is the
voluptuous
word? Is that the right word? Voluptuous?
Voluptuous?
Is that what we want to use though? Does that describe hair?
Voluptuous hair? I think so. Volume?
I think we're on the right track. It's very loud, your hair.
It's loud.
You ever heard that expression?
Yeah, I've always heard it in a negative context.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like that shirt's really loud?
Yeah.
It means bright.
Or like it's distractingly bright.
Oh.
Loud.
I thought it was a compliment.
I don't think so.
Like, hey, your eyes are really loud. You've never said that to a lady?
I've never.
Should try it sometime. Say it to Allie. You're lighting the candles, doing your thing. Say, hey, your eyes are really loud. See how that goes for you.
Blow out the candles. Go to bed quietly. I had a weird thing happen the other night.
Okay.
One, I had sleep paralysis again. I woke up, had to pee at like 4:00 in the morning.
That's the worst.
Yeah. So I peed and like, it's one of those things where you're like trying to keep yourself super sleepy. So you'll just fall right back.
So you like close your eyes, like you turn the light on to see where things are. But then as soon as you're in position, you close your eyes again.
Right. But I must have took just too long to pee and I was awake.
Nah.
So I was laying back down and then my wife like started like jumping in her sleep. Like not like stand up jumping.
Okay.
But like full body jumping.
Jeez.
Yeah. She also like laughs in her sleep, which is super creepy.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it's so creepy. Wake up and just pitch black. Someone, like, what the heck? But yeah, she was like just like physically jumping, which is super weird. So like I tried to like, like snuggle her a little bit to calm it, and like I could feel her body like she was breathing. So it wasn't like she was like not how like when you stop breathing you'll jump. It wasn't like that. She doesn't remember anything. But anyway, so then trying to fall back asleep was when I got sleep paralysis again.
What did you see anything or hear anything?
No, just like sounds like a freight train. That's it.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
How are you doing with like all the CPAP stuff? You still using it?
No.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
How are you weight wise? Have you gone up since?
Since I stopped, yes, which I kind of expected.
Yeah.
But I need to do another round, another round of it, because like I noticed like heartburn's coming back.
Yeah.
So something that I've reintroduced is not sitting well. So
gotcha.
I just kind of want to do a reset. But
it'd be good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't work out while you're doing that, can you?
Yeah. No.
Gotcha.
I mean, I probably could this time, just because like it's not as intense as the first time.
Yeah.
Because it was so drastic of where I was. But
at least get some cardio in.
Yeah, I need to. I have been riding my bike actually.
Good.
Since it's gotten warmer here in northern Ohio.
Northeast Ohio.
Yeah. And actually the town we live in, just about a mile up the road, they are building one of the rails to trails system to Orville. So I can ride through town, hit it, and then ride down. There's like a square that I do is about 4 miles, which isn't a ton on a bike, but
especially on a rails to trails because it's all flat because it's a railroad.
Half of it is just like a section of it that I ride.
Gotcha.
Because it's not really finished.
Gotcha.
So there's still like machinery and stuff on it, but part of it's paved and it gets me out of town to a road that like I can hit that comes back into town. So I ride that square.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you wear the biker shorts?
I do not. Just wear basketball shorts.
My ex-roommate wore the whole regalia.
I don't understand those people. To be honest, like I make fun of them in my head whenever I pass them.
Why do you need that?
No, you don't. Like,
I think I don't even want to know how much he spent on all his gear. I bet it was over $2,000. Like every time he went out, I bet he had $2,000 accumulated.
When you're sleeping in your car. Sorry. I'm sorry.
We won't broach that anymore.
No.
But yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I really don't. Even like I know I should wear more gear when I ride my motorcycle, but like the dudes that wear like the armored pants and like the armored jacket, and like the motorcycle boots that come like up halfway up your calf and they're like real rigid. I don't get it.
Yeah.
You look like an idiot. But then I also too probably look like an idiot riding around in a cutoff t-shirt.
They're probably looking at you like, you idiot.
Going 80 miles an hour down the highway.
Yep.
They're like, man, if he wrecks, he's screwed.
Yep.
Which I will be.
Yep.
But I got Kevlar gloves, like super padded gloves. So my philosophy is, or my thought process is, if I wreck, I'm wearing a t-shirt, I'm going to get real scraped up. I'm wearing jeans, I'm going to get real scraped up. And I'm probably going to be out of commission for a while with a whole bunch of road rash. So my hands, though, will be protected. So I can still text and scroll through Twitter.
If you still have your arms left.
If I still have my arms left, correct.
Chop off your arm or your hand's perfect. Reattach your hand to like your nub.
my shoulder. It wouldn't be close enough to grab the phone to text.
Like trying to text off your shoulder.
Oh, that'd be the worst. You couldn't even like, if your hands were on your shoulders, what's the point of having hands at that point? You really, like you can like get close to stuff and grab it, but like you can't put on your pants. You can't put on a shirt. Can't even put on a hat. You can't reach your head. You can't even scratch your face.
Imagine that, having it like an itch, and you have hands that are perfectly
capable of doing it.
You just can't reach it.
I guess you would have like a scratching stick, like a back scratcher, but
you have no motion of your arm though.
You can still like wiggle your hand like that.
Just your wrist.
You wiggle your fingers.
That's true.
I've often thought of what happens when an astronaut gets a itch like on their nose and they're out on a spacewalk.
That would suck.
Because have you ever gotten an itch on your nose and just thought like, I want to see how long I can ride this out?
I don't last.
It makes you literally go insane.
Yep.
After like a minute, you're like, I am literally going insane. I'm losing my marbles. What happens? We need to get an astronaut on this show.
That's a good question.
Interview an astronaut.
That would be sweet, actually.
I think we would really drop the ball.
Probably. I would just ask like the dumbest questions.
What's it like to blink in space? What's that feel like?
When you poop? How does
I actually know how that works.
Is it vacuum?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And then just out into space.
But like, it would be so cool. So if anyone has connections to an astronaut,
yeah,
let us know.
Hit us up.
We have no educational connection.
Oh, no.
Any benefit, but we talk to them. They can sign our table.
Oh, that'd be so great.
Although, if we could do an interview with someone on the space station.
Oh, like via Skype?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be so cool.
You know how much publicity we would get for that? That'd really bump up the numbers.
That would. They can be Russian. We don't care.
We'd actually prefer it if they were Russian. We'll use Google Translate on our phones.
Podcasts will be 4 hours long.
I was over at my girlfriend's parents' house a couple weekends ago. We just had a euchre night. It was my girlfriend's parents and my girlfriend's sister, Mandy, and Lori. Hi, Lori. She listens to the podcast. Was making supper, and Mandy and I were just sitting at the table talking. And Mandy was asking me if I had the opportunity to go to Mars, would I? And I said yes, absolutely, without question. To colonize Mars? Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going down and I will be in the history books. Like my name will be up there.
Yes.
With George Washington, all those great people.
What name would you use?
Oh,
I saw that tweet the other day.
Yeah. We'll get back to that.
Yes.
We'll come back to that. But then she was like, what if it means leaving like your family? I said, I'm going to Mars. She's like, what if it means leaving Emily? And like you guys are married and have kids. I said, I'm going to Mars. But to be fair, I was very upfront with Emily about this when we started dating.
Just so you know, I have one thing.
If I ever have the opportunity to go to Mars,
I'm leaving.
I'm going. I was very upfront about that. I don't know how I would be useful on a new Mars colony.
Right.
But I mean, I can shovel some Mars dirt. I can set up some Mars walls, do some Mars plumbing.
That's right. Your plumbing background.
Yeah. You know? So, general laborer on Mars, I could handle. You need the grunts. You know what I mean?
You do.
So, just saying. But going back to the tweet thing really quick, and then we'll wrap this up because you're getting real sleepy and yawny.
I am.
And I feel bad.
And I'm hungry.
And you're hungry. Okay. We'll wrap it up after this. But I work for, at this point, 3 different audiobook companies. And for some reason, I used a different name when I started like the relationship with all of them. So for one, I'm Don. For one, I'm Donnie. And for one, I'm Donald. And I constantly forget which one I am for each company. So like if I'm sending an email, I constantly have to go back and find an old email and see what name I used.
You know what you need?
What?
A sticky note.
Oh, like for Pro Audio Voices, I'm done.
Yeah, just stick it right there underneath your monitor.
I should do that.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Yes.
Yep. Wrap it up. Get you some food.
Yes.
Get you to bed.
Ooh.
Oh, your mic just fell out. The ghost.
Yep.
You believe in ghosts?
No.
Neither do I. I saw a poll on Twitter today. What do you think is more plausible, ghosts or aliens?
Aliens.
Yeah. It was like 97 to 93. Or 97 to 3. 97% chose.
Okay.
Is what I'm trying to say. 97% of people chose aliens.
Yeah.
Because do you believe in aliens?
Do
you believe in the possibility of organic life on other planets?
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Which could eventually lead to intelligent life.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form.
I think it'd be cool. So It's one of those things that, like, even if all of the facts pointed opposite, it's just one of those things that I want so bad to be true that I'm going to be like, no, I believe.
No.
I don't care about your facts.
I think if there were aliens, I think they would be in a similar boat to us. Because if we develop faster than light travel and have the capability of realistically going to planets that are similar to ours where we could survive on, where we could touch down and walk around on, I do not think that we would go there with hostility. Like our objective is to take over the planet,
right,
and use up the natural resources of that planet. I don't see
unless there's oil.
I don't even think we would do it if there was oil.
I'm just kidding.
Where we would reach like some sort of treaty.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're running low.
Yeah.
We're on E over here. Can we stop by?
Yeah.
I think terraforming is a cool prospect. Terraform a planet.
Yeah.
Like create an atmosphere on it.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really sick. All right, we'll wrap it up before I get
too deep
into space.
Let's do it.
Deep space, which is my favorite thing to say about space. If we're talking about space, deep space. That just sounds so cool.
Deep space.
I'm going to deep space. Oh man, wow, you're really going out there. Yeah, man, it's deep space. Hardly anybody's been out there. Just a handful of people. And Donnie Donald Murray in deep space. All right, gang. It's my turn to kazoo.
It's your turn?
And your turn to slow jam.
That's right. So we're gonna wrap this tasty ear massage whole session up with letting you know where you can find us on Twitter at My Friend Podcast. Check us out. See some tweets. Tweet at us. Let us know your bad neighbor story. We all have them. Maybe it's your wife. That's the bad neighbor. We understand. So send us a tweet. You can send us an email at itrustyoupodcast@gmail.com. Just like Donnie's name, it's Fiasco. He also created Fiasco for us, having completely different titles for all of our accounts. But you can find me at the Jordan Venter on Twitter. Send me a tweet. Find us on Back Row Radio on Fridays or on anywhere podcasts are available, whatever podcast app Carol uses, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube. We want to be in your ear holes forever. So with that, we wish you a tasty farewell.
Also, really quick, before we say goodbye, our charity that we're trying to raise money for, Compassion International, great charity. They do a ton of great stuff for a lot of people around the world. We're trying to raise $500. If we raise $500, we're going to run in a 5K. But here's the thing. This has been going on for coming up on almost a year now. We're at least at the 7-month mark. And I'm going to have to shut it down soon. So you guys have 2 months left.
2 months.
January, February, March, April. We're in April. So April, May, June. If end of June, it's getting shut down. And those of you that donated, obviously, I'll figure out how to refund your money. We will have failed. Do you guys want us to fail?
We cannot handle failure.
Nope. All right. Love you. Bye.
Just two dudes having a conversation. You're my friend and I trust you.